around that time, my mom and my stepdad had got into meth quite a bit. And
Damn.
They were doing that. So I ended up moving out when I was like 15. My dad ended up dying the day before I graduated.
Really?
Yeah, so-
Before you graduated boot camp?
Yeah, he died at 48, had a heart disease. I got in an officer-involved shooting at one point, and that was a pretty wild deal. And that was like in the middle of all the police protests. It was after the Ferguson stuff. And so it was, you know, if you got in a shooting, your ears perked up pretty quick because you didn't know what the backlash was going to be. I called my wife and I said, hey, so I'm going to be late, you know, like, I got in a shooting. She's like, oh my God.
See, that's what's fucked
like,
up,
are you okay?
man.
And then her immediate thought wasn't like,
What you're thinking.
yeah, her immediate thought was like, are you going to get fired? Are you going to go to prison?
So you lost it all.
Lost it all. And you can't get on base. You can't, like,
It wasn't like your Marines buddies took it or something off you.
No.
We like got stolen off you.
no, like,
probably.
I think I got jumped, mugged, and pistol.
For real.
For real, that's what I think happened.
After, what kind of bar were you at, bro?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't remember
No,
shit?
I don't remember. I was fucking Jaegers, man.
This is
Jaeger bombs.
straight up like hangover.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what it was. I'm like, I ain't got shit.
Damn.
I said, what's up? He goes, I'm in the bathroom. I said,
He's
okay.
hiding from hookers?
I said, what's going on? He goes, the girls are here. I said, cool, man.
Yeah,
He
do your
goes-
thing.
He goes, it's $99 just to get him to the room. I said,
Oh
I
my
said, okay.
gosh.
He said, they want $500 for I said, tell him to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't think I can. I said, you want me to come tell him to get lost? He's like, please.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Outsider Show. This is one of our first podcasts. We're getting the whole studio set up. We're getting this thing rocking and rolling, and it's an honor for me to invite one of my brothers, somebody that I served with in the Marine Corps, I was in Iraq with, literally right next to me the entire deployment. Honestly, what better guest to have? Christopher Buck, so law enforcement officer after he got out of the Marine Corps for 18 plus years. His story's amazing. Just recently quit his job. And he says in this video about how he was working for the government for 18 plus years and then finally made the commitment, even though he has a wife, 2 boys, and used to a steady paycheck. Guys, make sure you watch this episode. It's an amazing one. He'll show you how you can get the confidence to quit your job and go after your version of success. The things I want to talk about and like the questions that I want to start with is just, I guess, our relationship. So, right, where our relationship started, when did I first meet you?
So I don't know if you remember, but when we deployed, so in 2007, we did our workup, 323 gets together. We go to Lejeune.
Yeah.
So we're out in
Did we meet
Jacksonville.
in Tulsa first and BA?
No. So, well, we probably did. I'm sure we crossed paths,
But you were with a different unit, no?
so every tow platoon has a driver. Yours was Lentz.
Oh, yeah.
And but right before we left, I was like, fuck it, I want to go to Iraq. So I put my hand up. They're like, and at that time, if you remember, there was 1,250 people in our battalion. Like, if you wanted to go, you went. Like, there was no like capping it. It was not. They were just wanting bodies.
True.
So I stick my hand up. I'm like, so I get assigned to 323. We get out there and we get to Lejeune, and they pushed me over to H&S Company because I was a driver. Yeah. So Lentz was the driver for the tow platoon, and then I was in H&S Company. Well, while we were doing our workup, Staff Sergeant Pro at the time was like, hey, I want all my Broken Arrow guys together. So he pulled me back. In fact, they were kind of fighting back and forth of where I was going to go, and because Pro had the BC's, the battalion commander's ear, he was like, no, you're going. And so they pulled me back. So now you guys had 2 drivers, which my job, being a driver in the Marine Corps was kind of pointless, really, because you go to school in Fort Leonard Wood, and all you really walk away with is a 7-ton license and a Humvee license. Well, every tow gunner, we would put on driving courses, and every tow gunner had a Humvee license.
Absolutely, almost anybody that's mec'd up.
So really, the only thing that you have is a 7-ton license. Well, we only have one 7-ton, and I was driving a Humvee.
Yeah.
So I was just.
You drove the Humvee almost half the deployment, or the whole?
Yeah,
just half the deployment.
About halfway through, I switched and went and drove the 7-ton.
Yeah.
And then but for the first half, it was
Humvee.
Yeah, it was me, you in the back,
Yeah. That's right.
Doc
They did
Boyd.
rotate us in the middle. I have no reason. I have no understanding why, but I will.
Yeah, Doc Boyd, and then our platoon sergeant, and then we had the gunner. Sword was up in the gun.
Damn, that's
But-
cool.
so
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
kinda-
we did meet in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
that's
that's kind of how we met. Was like, and
You
it
got
wasn't
attached
even
to us.
Yeah, it wasn't even like the whole workup. You were with weapons company, like getting fucked up in the field,
Straight up.
and I was over there like drinking every weekend.
You guys
going
were.
out.
Your barracks were like fucking miles away too, and you and Lentz were fucking off because Lentz was with you and your roommate, wasn't he?
No, I think Lentz was stuck with you guys for a while, and so that's what we were talking earlier about. You were like, "Fuck Jacksonville, that place sucked." Everything. I was
Yeah.
like, "Dude, I had fun in Jacksonville,"
So
but
you're going to like fucking beach.
but
and
I was
shit.
going out to Tar Heels, fucking partying it up every weekend. I was getting nights and weekends off.
Oh
and,
my god!
And so like
Yeah.
we would get out for the day, you know, and you guys were like getting ready to go to the field. First thing, we'd just go fucking start pounding beers because then they'd be like, "Hey, we need a driver," and I'm like, "Oh, sorry,
I've been drinking."
Sorry, Sergeant."
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
yeah. So I had a really good time in Jacksonville. I mean, my life didn't really start sucking until right before we left Jacksonville and went to Mojave Viper,
Yeah.
29 Palms. That's whenever.
Fucking.
That's when life started. But it was
2-9
fun.
wasn't bad.
No, it
yeah.
wasn't bad. It was
Mojave
just-
Viper was easy.
It was just That's just
yeah,
whenever.
it sucked because it was hot as fuck. But
Whenever I had to start doing like real Marine shit.
Yeah,
Not-
true.
Not just fucking
yeah,
off.
bro. I remember when we
doing poke
I would
shit.
go jump on stuff with you, and you'd have to take a truck out or something because
Yeah.
you were in our unit, and I would like get my sock wet to put my fucking water in just so it wasn't boiling hot,
Yeah.
and hanging out the window in the 7-ton freaking mirrors.
He has like a natural air conditioner.
Just whatever we could do to not have boiling hot water
Yeah, for sure.
because that shit was hot. Well, let's start. Like, so tell me a little about your growing up, like your upbringing. Where'd you? Let's hear your backstory.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm from Pryor, Oklahoma. Small town, northeast Oklahoma.
Born and raised.
Yeah, well, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was little, yeah, I'm pretty much since the time I was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But my parents split up whenever I was young. I was about 5, I think. My dad moved to New Orleans, so I'd go spend the summers down there with him. But really, I mean, Pryor was home. And then,
Your dad moved down there, so your parents split.
yeah, my
Hey,
parents.
how old were you?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, so your dad just bounced and went to New Orleans?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so his mom, my grandmother, she owned like 3 or 4 bars down there. So he kind of left and went and started managing those bars. And
Yeah.
he was a hustler, man. Like he would go out and start businesses. I mean, he would he knew how to make money. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Just hustling.
Yeah, just hustling. Like he knew how to do electrical work. I don't know that he was ever licensed, but he just faked all his shit. He was an insurance adjuster for a little while. We were talking about that the other day, how like you're supposed to like journeyman and do all this stuff with that and like work under another adjuster for a long time. And then
Yeah.
he just faked all his paperwork and shit.
Damn.
And was making like, $250,000 a year,
Being a journeyman.
doing this insurance adjusting
Oh,
that
the
he just
insurance
fucking
side.
faked his license on. So,
Did you go visit him down there when he was down there? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, there were summers that like, because he just chased storms, like he would go, like there'd be a hurricane somewhere and then he would go live down in that area for a couple months and
Yeah.
do all these process all these claims. And I'd live in hotel rooms and shit like that. But they, like my parents, they all had like, early on, there was a lot of drug abuse and shit like that. So
They together were doing drugs together?
I'm sure they were. I was little then, so I really don't know. But like, I know apart from that, they were like. I know my dad had a pretty extensive cocaine habit. As I got older into middle school, and around that time, my mom and my stepdad had got into meth quite a bit. And
Damn.
They were doing that. So I ended up moving out when I was like 15. And
Was he still in Louisiana?
yeah, he was still down in Louisiana,
Where at?
just outside New Orleans and
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said that.
Metairie.
Dude, it's a fucking rough area, huh?
Yeah, well, I
Outside
mean,
New Orleans itself is.
yeah, New Orleans is. I mean, Kenner Metairie, that area's not. It's like everywhere else. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just-
suburb style.
Yeah, yeah. So, but
Did you keep a relationship with him much?
yeah, I mean,
do
yeah,
now?
yeah. Well, no, I'll go back. So,
Yeah, fast forward.
So we, that's kind of, now I'm into middle school, high school. Like I said, my mom had got into it, but now I'm kind of at the age where like I see kind of what's going on. So I moved out of the house and moved in with my aunt and uncle, and so that was a blessing for me.
Was it your choice?
Yeah, yeah,
So you just made a smart move. You're like, I just want to get away from this shit.
yeah. I just bounced.
Damn.
And,
Well, what inspired you to do that? Just not want to be like them? I mean, I feel like a lot of people that grow up in a house like that or alcoholism or whatever, Like they don't end up drinking, right? Or they don't want to have that kind of home.
No, so I had a little sister. I still have a little sister, Sarah. She was 3, 4, something, just could barely talk, you know. And she came into my room one day, and she said, you know, Bubba, Mama's got something hanging from her nose. And I went in there, and it's just some shit you'd see in the movies, you know, like my mom's like passed out, sitting up, snot hanging from her nose, meth on the bed. And I'm like, you know, so I get her, get my shit, and I just walked down to my aunt's house. I was like, we gotta have somewhere to go. So
how old were you?
15.
Damn.
Yeah, so I stayed there. My sister, her dad, so my stepdad and mom were kind of splitting up around that time. They were both, one of them would be fucked up on dope, the other one would be sober. Then they would kind of switch spots, you know, back and forth. And so she ended up going with her dad, who had cleaned up, and then he started fucking up. She'd go back with my mom. And anyway, so I stayed with my aunt for a couple of years till I graduated. And then I went to school at OU. And then I was there. So that was what, 2000. I graduated in 2004. So I was at OU for a couple of years. And
didn't get your degree, didn't graduate out?
No. So I was going to school full time, partying full time, working.
What were you
full-time.
going to school for, bro?
Criminology.
Really?
Yes.
So it applied to what you ended up doing?
Yeah, sociology, criminology. Like I was my original plan was I wanted to do something in law, like a lawyer or something, make some money, whatever.
Yeah.
But while I was down there, I got a minor in possession of alcohol ticket, and like kind of made friends with the guys that wrote me the ticket. And so anyways, I started, it was kind of my first law enforcement job, I guess, was working for the OU Police Department.
Yeah.
As like unarmed security. And then I ended up I got enrolled in the platoon leaders course. It's kind of like an ROTC for the Marines, you know. And so I went to MEPS, and I was set to go to OCS, and I just got burnt out. I got burnt out in school.
Yeah.
So I stopped at the recruiter on the guy that had recruited me on the officer side had switched over to the enlisted side, and he had moved to Tulsa. Well, I was from Pryor, so I was heading back home.
Yeah.
And I stopped by his office. I was like, hey, like, what's it gonna take to enlist? He's like, well, I got to jump through some hoops because we got to get you out of the officer side. And then so I had to go through all this stuff, and then it took me a couple weeks, but I ended up early or late January. I depped on a Friday and shipped on a Monday, and went to boot camp.
Damn, that's fast.
Yeah. And then my dad ended up dying the day before I graduated.
Really?
Yeah,
Before you graduated boot camp?
Yeah, he died at 48, had a heart disease.
You guys were in communication up until that point?
Yeah, so we were right before. I mean, I saw him right before I left, and for all of his faults, I mean, he did a lot of dumb shit, drugs and partied, and what ultimately, I'm sure, what killed him. Just his heart couldn't keep up, but he was never like a spun out junkie, you know, like you see a lot of people. So like he never really was that. He just wasn't present.
Yeah.
So
he's living his own life, partying it up.
Yeah.
Dang. How did you find out about that? Did you find out about that after you graduate? Because like you probably.
So like probably halfway through, I mean, we're out in the field, and I remember getting a Red Cross message, and they said, hey, your dad's in the hospital, you need to call. So like I called, and I don't think anybody answered or something. And fast forward, and it's like, so I graduated April 21st. So visitors Thursday was April 20th.
Okay.
April 19th, I had gotten another Red Cross message, and they were like, hey, you need to call this number. Your dad's in the hospital. So
yeah.
it's like, and keep in mind, like, he was up walking around whenever I left. You know, like,
it's not like he was all handicapped or some shit.
Yeah, so so I called, and I hear him on the phone, but like he was clearly like on some narcotic pain meds, you know, like, yeah, one of those. And so then we get off the phone. I thought it was kind of weird, you know, and then we get off the phone, and so the next day, Thursday, they actually said I could go home, and I was like, fuck, we graduate tomorrow, you know, like there's no reason to go home.
Yeah.
And by then, my aunt, my uncle, my mom, you know, my girlfriend, like my buddies, like there's probably 10 people had bought non-refundable tickets, because when they're buying 10 tickets, buying non-refundable saves quite a bit of money.
Absolutely.
So they had already bought these non-refundable tickets to San Diego to come watch me graduate. And I was like, if I just go leave, they wasted all this money, you know? So I was like, fuck, I'll just stay. So I stayed, and then we go do our PFT and, or ceremony and do the shit on the parade deck. And then you get to go visit with your parents. And my aunt comes over there and everybody's like, hey, let me see the phone so I can call dad. And everybody just looks at my aunt. I was like, oh, shit, no, it's damn. So
yeah,
she's like, I got a call this morning, like about an hour before that she had died.
Damn.
So
did your mom come to graduation?
I think so. I think she was there.
Is your relationship with your mom?
Yeah.
Good?
I mean, so she's, she eventually cleaned up and she's doing great now. She's been clean for over a decade now. And
damn.
Yes, things are good.
So the rest is history. You go there, you get out, you go check into the unit, and at the same time, you're probably, since we went reserve, did you get back into law enforcement and stuff at that point, or what?
Yeah, so I went to boot camp. I get
MCT,
and then MCT and all that stuff, and then I get back, and I was like, okay, so I got to check into the unit, and then I got hired on at the sheriff's office working in the jail. And then I did that for about 10 seconds before I deployed deployed to Iraq. So then I go to Iraq, I get back from Iraq, I get hired as a police officer, go to the police academy, come back, I start doing cop shit for a little while, the small town in Inola, Oklahoma. And then I'm there.
You deploy again right after that, no?
Yeah, so while I was at Inola, I think I went to Africa for that. We went to Africa.
We went to Africa, Morocco,
and
Agadir.
That was in 2009.
Sahara, yeah.
And
that was a blast.
That was a good time.
That was a freaking blast. We were sleeping in tents the whole time. That was so sick.
Yeah, they were like the one-man tents.
Literally,
Like
nothing out there, man.
Right.
That was cool though. I look forward to just black coffee in the morning. That's like my only highlight, right? And then like ramping the shit out of the Humvees.
Yeah, and watching fucking How I Met Your Mother.
On your freaking phone or whatever you could. Yeah.
So, so do that, get back, and then I left. So I met my wife, Erica, while I was working at Inola, and then we weren't married yet, but I ended up knocking her up.
Yeah.
And so we had a kid on the way.
Dang.
And then, so I was like, fuck, I'm making like $10 an hour, actually $10.08 an hour at Inola PD. And I was like, fuck, I got a kid on the way, man. I can't afford this shit. So I went back to work at the sheriff's office, was making a little bit more money, had better insurance, and we have Cooper, my first one, and worked there for about a year till I can find another job on the street doing cop work. So I went to another small town that just paid more. Yeah. And while I was there, I deployed to Afghanistan.
Damn.
So went to Afghanistan under a NATO mission, which was kind of a gay deployment. But it was all right. We were on an old Blackwater base, so it was literally just fucking working out and watching movies and shit.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, it was easy.
Let's rewind back to so we got a good idea of like how you grew up and whatnot, but let's rewind back to our deployment. So when we met, in Jacksonville, and I mean I don't really remember the first time we met necessarily. I mean I think you just got attached to our platoon and you're in line, and then just fucking everybody kind of gets along and fucks off, and
well, we were both Lance Corporals, and Lance Corporals do Lance Corporal shit. I'm sure it was on a working
drinking
party.
and partying and your working party and whatnot, and
I'm sure it was picking up brass on a range or something.
Yeah,
but
I mean, honestly, I look back and a lot of time we spent in Jacksonville was pretty fun. Like even though it sucks, Jacksonville, like you said, your experiences were different at first than mine, but overall, when we got to go out and stuff, it wasn't bad at all. Like that was pretty cool. It was like honestly the most amount of freedom I'd had as a Marine out in town and stuff. Yeah,
because normally you're locked down. It's like be here, do this. But like
we were going to the MCX every day, buying beer and freaking everything we could, and having a blast.
Yeah, did we
were drinking till freaking 1 a.m. and waking up for 4 a.m. PT.
Yeah, we went out off base together quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Like,
you went out. I feel like you had a different clique. You have a different group of guys because you had already connected with a lot of the Motor T guys. You had a good group of people that you probably were already with. So you'd go sometimes with them, and then. But I wasn't married. I didn't have a wife. Didn't have a girlfriend really at the time.
Yeah, and I didn't either.
So and you hadn't met Erica yet at that point. You met her when we got back.
Yeah, I met her. So after I was at Inola, so
you.
Which I didn't start there till.
Yeah, because I look back and she wasn't at the airport, right? When we came home and she didn't even know her. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But if you remember, so like on our way back from Iraq, we get some liberty and everything, and I don't know if you remember this, but we like second night we were back, like we all go out in town.
Yeah, I remember that distinctly.
Do you remember exactly what I'm
100%.
getting ready to say?
Absolutely. But you told me the other day, so I didn't know this. I just thought I got in trouble, and it was just me and Stokes, and we got freaking what is it? Secured to base.
No,
so we couldn't go out.
motherfucker.
And he said they got the whole fucking battalion.
No, yeah, the whole fucking unit was like secured to base, like no liberty. Like our platoon was not like barracks. Like we couldn't go to the PX. But
Dude,
the whole company was like.
I'm surprised nobody got fucking trying to beat my ass.
Secured to base, yeah. I mean, if it was prison, you'd have got fucking
straight up.
You got fucked up.
Yeah,
but
the reason being is because I was out in town getting tailed, but that's just the facts.
Yeah,
but I distinctly remember at that moment when you left and dropped us off at that house, being like, "Hey, come pick us up," and you guys are like, "Yeah, we're gonna come back and pick you up."
I'm sure
that didn't happen.
I didn't have a fucking car. Like, how am I going to come back?
Somebody had a vehicle. Somebody had a Govey or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't me.
So it was Crips or something that had a
Probably
car.
Crips.
Yeah, and so we didn't get picked up. We didn't come in. I woke up on a fucking couch somewhere and rolled out of
so
bed.
Before all that, like during the workup, we had some fucking crazy nights too. Like before I got back with Weapons Company, when I was still with H&S Company, those fuckers could party too, man.
Oh,
like,
I bet.
We went out one night and we went to where the fuck did we go? I think we went to Myrtle Beach, and or no, we went to Wilmington. Is where we went. We went to Wilmington. One of the guys had like hit some money at a fucking casino, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go buy you guys a." So we all get this fucking room together, and we go out.
Typical Marines.
And I know 1 minute I'm like fucking karaoke and whiskey lullaby, wearing a fucking bridal veil for a bachelorette party, and like the next thing I know, I wake up in a parking garage at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm face down. I'm soaking wet on my back. I think I got pissed on or jumped or something.
On the ground?
On the ground in a parking garage.
By yourself?
I don't have a wallet. I lost my military ID, my civilian driver's license, my tactical vehicle license, my room key, my meal card, everything. I had nothing. Everything.
Fucking great guys that left you behind, bro.
Well, and then that's right. So this was like 4 or 5, maybe a week before we go to Mojave Viper. I didn't get hooked up with you guys till we went to Mojave Viper.
Yeah, like right before.
So 6 weeks before deployment. Because it's like a week before that, and I lost all that shit. So now, like, we get back, like, somebody's got to vouch for me to get on base, and then
How'd you get picked up? Let's stop at the story. Like, as you wake up, like,
so
freaking hangover over here.
So I wake up, I didn't know where the fuck I was. I didn't know, we had been to the room, but I didn't have a room key. And it was second floor. Our room was on the second floor, and you have to have a room key to get on the elevator to go up to the second floor.
Yeah,
to get to your room.
Sure.
And it's like a motel, so like the doors are out facing, but there's not ground access.
Gotcha.
So you got to go upstairs, but to get upstairs you have to have a room key. So I find like some fucking decorative shit, and I scaled my way up to the second floor from the outside, and I'm like. I knew about where my room was.
How far was the parking garage from this hotel?
No idea.
How'd you get there?
No idea. I walked, but
you were still drunk as hell.
Oh fuck yeah!
What? So it was like in the middle of the night. You woke back up off the ground, and they
like
just left you behind back there.
My friends are like, I don't know where.
So you're trying to just get back into the room and pass out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I get up there. I start knocking on doors, and like just hoping to find
the right door.
And I get one, and the saving grace. Somebody had the presence of mind to save Buck, and they set the door on the latch. So I knock on one door, it opens up. I was like, and I see like all these Marines passed out in there. So I went there and passed out. And
yeah.
So the next day we go, somebody buys me fucking lunch or breakfast. And
oh my god.
I get on base, hungover as shit.
You're so lucky, dude.
I got to have somebody take me down to the fucking ID office.
So you lost it all.
Lost it all. And you can't get on base. You can't like.
It wasn't like your Marines buddies took it or something off of you. It like got stolen off of you.
No, like, I think I got jumped, mugged, and pissed on.
For real?
For real, that's what I think happened.
After what kind of bar were you at, bro?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't remember
No,
shit?
I don't remember. I was fucking Jaeger. Man.
This is straight up like hangover.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm like I ain't got shit.
Damn.
So
that sucks.
So I get somebody to vouch for me to get me on base. The next day, I go tell my platoon sergeant. I was like, hey, like I fucked up, and so he walks me to the ID office. Says this is. Chris Buck, so they give me a military ID. I've got to like call the DMV in Oklahoma and be like, hey, I need a fucking driver's license like now. And they're like, send us your social security card. So I got to get a hold of I don't have it. So I got to get a hold of like my aunt or somebody to email me a copy of my social security card that they had found somehow.
Yeah.
So I do that. I get that to the DMV. They overnight me a driver's license. I'm doing all this in a week because we're leaving to California.
Yeah.
So then I got to take all that shit down to the driver's license with the department, whatever, for the military and get my tactical vehicle license. I never got a meal card again. I would go in the exit and sit down, and like somebody like you would go through, get your meal, bring it over to me, and then you'd go get seconds. And that's how I fucking ate. And my room key.
Luckily, it's only a week.
Yeah, my room key. We just cracked the window, and I just fucking opened the window and crawl in and unlock the door.
Damn.
And then, yeah. So
shit, that's a good one. That's a good one. So you're right. We probably linked up closer to Mojave Viper. We go to Mojave Viper at 29 Palms in California. So for those of y'all that don't know, we were watching this podcast. We were doing a pre-mobilization. So we were going to Iraq in 2007, early 2007. Our deployment went from 2007 to 2008, and essentially we were reserve. We were in a reserve unit, and so when we got activated and deployed, this is what we have to do. We have to go train, and we do all this stuff. And actually, it was longer than I expected. Probably good for good reason. I'm glad that we did. Because I don't know how long you were in Jacksonville, but I feel like it was at least a couple months, right?
Three and a half months.
Yeah, 3.5 months that, and then we did another month, right, or a month and a half of Mojave Viper.
I think they were trying to figure out the best way to like train up a reserve unit.
I feel like they were changing a lot of things while we were doing that.
So that workup was like we did 3.5 months in Jacksonville, then we went out to California, Mojave Viper for 6 weeks, and then we bounced to Iraq. Well, we got a 96.
Let's hold on. We'll go into that. So we get to Mojave Viper, and then basically, if you don't know what Mojave Viper was, it's like a fast spin up for Iraq, and the objective was for the Marine Corps to put you in a place that's like the desert in Iraq, and like it's extremely hot in the summer in 29 Palms. It's outside of Palm Springs, if you don't know where that is, California. And you're living in a Quonset hut. It looks like some old school 1960s, Vietnam style war shit, right? Yeah. But it's in the desert. And so we're living in Quonset huts, no air conditioning. It's actually the worst of conditions. And a lot of the guys that had deployed before were like, this is worse than Iraq. And they were right. Yeah, they were 100% right, the conditions wise. And we're living in a Quonset hut. We have a cot and your sea bags, and it's hot as fuck, bro. Everybody's just like, when it's time to go rack out and go to bed, you're literally stripping off all your clothes and laying on you don't need a blanket like the whole time, which we have some funny stories throughout this whole escapade. And so we're doing our trainings. We would do live fire shoots. We're doing like IED tactical stuff. We're trying to mitigate. Like I feel like we're learning a lot more about IEDs because they became huge during 2007, 2008, and it was one of the biggest risks. It really wasn't a lot of small arms combatants, and so we were spinning up on all that.
They'd switched up their tactics for how they're like.
Everything.
At one point, it was remote detonated, and then it was command detonated, like with
I feel like we were just learning it, and then it's like the next week it's changed, and the next week it's changed.
This is what we're doing. So like when we were in Iraq, the big thing was like pressure plates.
Yeah.
It's like that's why instead of pushing through to try to like, so they couldn't time the remotes, like they weren't really doing that. It was all pressure plates like hit, so we were slowed down. So our whole deployment, I bet the fastest we ever did was
35 miles.
35 miles an hour, and that was on a. What's the one going from Ramadi to...
I don't remember the roads, bro. I didn't drive.
Route Mobile.
Yeah.
On Route Mobile, it's like this 6-lane highway, and we're doing 35.
It took us forever.
We'd shut the whole traffic down so we could stop and take a piss.
That was fun.
But yeah.
So throughout that, I still remember a good story. Do you remember somebody had dared you or paid you to put your balls on ice?
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I don't remember it.
Yeah, they dared you to put your balls on ice. They had this ice, and you had to put your balls on the ice. And then remember Cripps was making a hooch outside?
I remember that.
And we made him drink it?
Yeah, we made hooch. We made jailhouse
We were stealing the stuff from the chow hall, like the old bread, and then freaking bread. And then fruit. We had no fucking idea what we were doing. There was no YouTube this right now.
We just put it in a trash bag.
We put it in a trash bag outside. Mind you, it's like 110 degrees or 115 degrees in the desert. So we left it a week. And then we were like, hey, let's see if it'll get you fucked up. And we're like, hey, you're drinking that.
And it
not you, but somebody else.
Yeah, it surprisingly smelled like beer. It
did start to ferment.
It smelled like beer that had been like when you wake up from a party and like there's hot beers on the table and shit. And you're like, that's what it smelled like.
Yeah.
But
there's all sorts of fun stuff. And so, we did have a 96. So right when we're done, we get a 96, which is like a Liberty. We get off for 96 hours. And I had family come to town, I think. And I think it was just my family came to town, so I visited them with a little bit, and then I went out with like one of the other guys, like you said, one of the Purple Heart guys, and then you went to.
I went to Vegas.
How was that?
So I'd probably had, I don't know, 5-6 grand saved up, 8 grand, I don't know. And
You're rich as fuck,
dude, I was fucking hood rich, So we go out and there's, I don't know, like 6 of us or something, and we rent this car, and it's like a fucking Sonata or some shit like this. Anyways, there's like 5 seats.
Yeah.
And there's like 6 of us, so we had this Laotian guy, Chomp.
Yep.
And he was probably
5'2".
Yeah, he was a little bitty. So he rode in the trunk we'd partied the night before at Mojave Viper.
Yeah.
They let us off. They said we could drink. We could have 2 per,
Oh, yeah.
And so we were all fucked up from the night before. So that morning we get up to go bounce out to Vegas, and Doc Boyd went with us to Vegas. Yeah. And I'll talk about Doc here in a minute on some stuff that happened in Vegas. But so he starts IVs and all of us. So like we got IVs hanging from the fucking sunroof. Cripps is driving. Chomp's in the trunk. It's like fucking Hangover.
100%. Well, I mean, you got a Corman, so that's legit.
Yeah. And so
getting IV drip.
So that's literally how we're driving down the road to fucking Vegas, is with IVs hanging from the
from Cripps' arm. And
yeah. And Cripps is, this fucking short Korean guy that like.
Short round Korean.
Yeah, short round Korean guy. It's fucking funny.
Oh yeah, it's funny. He rented that van. He rented a van in Jacksonville. I don't know if you were with us at that point.
Remember? Yeah,
we
all
put
went out.
like Army. My son is in the Army and shit on it and all this stuff.
We went out one night in Jacksonville in that van, and he drove, and we were like driving for like 2 hours to go. That was when we went to Myrtle Beach.
Yes.
And we drive for like 2 hours, and we're like, where the fuck are we? And he was driving north instead of south. We drove like 2 hours out of the fucking way.
He had no idea where he was going.
No, I mean,
oh my god.
Just anyway. So
yeah. So 96.
Back
boom.
to
You're going
Vegas.
heading to Vegas. You got IVs in your arm.
So we get to Vegas, and Doc's a pervert, like more so than the rest of us. We're all, but Doc's like, we start walking the strip.
He's trying to find hookers, bro.
No. So have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah, I've been to Vegas like 15 times.
Okay. So there's all these people handing out the little fucking cards, we're not there an hour walking the strip, and we were staying in New York, and we get up to our room, and Doc's already got like a handful of these cards, and he's fucking like, it's like he's shopping.
Like he's shopping.
Oh yeah, and so I could see it in his eyes. I already knew where this was going. He saw one that said 2 for $99, $2 for $99. So we're all up in the room, and everybody's like, oh, we're going down to gamble. I was like, cool. So I go down there with them. Doc's up there like on the phone before we're out of the room, like, hey, so anyways. So we go downstairs. I'm like playing some blackjack or something, getting the fucking free beer that comes with playing blackjack. And I get a call from Doc like maybe 45 minutes after we left him in the room alone. And he's like, Chris.
Is he whispering?
Yeah. I said, what's up? He goes, I'm in the bathroom. I said, okay.
He's hiding from hookers?
I said, what's going on? He goes, the girls are here. I said, cool, man.
Yeah, do your thing.
He goes, it's $99 just to get them to the room. I said,
oh my
okay.
gosh.
He said, they want $500 for the hand job. I said, tell him to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't think I can. I said, you want me to come tell him to get lost? He's like, please.
No, he did not.
I said, all right. So,
oh my God.
So I was waiting on a beer, so it took me another couple minutes for them to come back with the beer, because they're kind of slow, because they want.
Yo, do they take forever to freaking
like,
do?
They don't want
to
just get you fucked up.
Yeah.
So I get my beer and I head back up to the room, and I knock. I don't have a key. I knock on the door, and this fucking she's got to be 6'2". I mean, big girl.
Oh damn!
Opens the door.
Like skinny 6'2" or like thick 6'2"?
Oh, thick. Like.
Oh my God! Like a linebacker.
Oh yeah. Like probably played some.
She would smash Doc.
Probably athletic.
Yeah, he's not. He's not a big guy.
Big. So she answers the door. No shirt on, just wearing panties.
Okay.
And only panties.
Just bare chested.
Yeah. So I open the door. She's like, "Hey, you looking for a good time?" I look over there. It's too late. Like
this is my room. What the fuck?
Doc's already naked on the bed. The other girl is
no
on
freaking
the bed.
way.
And, so I walk in, and we've gotten a suite. Like we've got
big enough.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of us that were throwing in on it, and so I go into our living room of our hotel, and I look over there, Doc's just, I can see it. It's already it's seared in my brain forever. So this girl over there gets started. She asked the Amazon woman, and she had
Amazon.
she said, "Could you see if you can find some lotion?" So she goes, "Yeah." So she goes to the bathroom and gets this like
Oh, no.
hotel bottle of lotion, and I hear, it's like she.
And
fucking
you're like
lifts it
sitting
up.
on the couch, bro, like a
Dude,
weirdo.
Like, yeah,
it's
like I went into the couch and she's already fucking jerking him off.
So you're like,
And
what do I do now?
was like, yeah,
Watch this
like,
TV
I don't know what to do
show.
with my hands, you know.
Oh my
So,
God.
but it wasn't awkward for that long because less than 60 seconds later, I heard, oh. And then the girl says, "Get me a towel."
They must be good at their job. Damn.
Dude, she must have. That was probably the best hand job. So
He's like, he just want to get it out of there.
yeah,
bro.
he pays fucking $600. So he paid the $500 for the hand
And
job,
then the $100 to get him there.
Because the $99 for the assist from the other girl.
That's
And,
hilarious.
Yeah. So,
Oh my gosh.
man. So
Well, did he get it out of his system, or how was the rest of the weekend?
So he finished. He cleans up. We go back downstairs and like fucking the first. He was a gambler. Doc gambled quite a bit.
Yeah, he's
And,
blackjack, right?
Well, I don't think it mattered because I saw him play. The first thing I saw him do is play Casino War, and he puts $100 down, and it's like you win or lose. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's
it's
black and
war.
white, yeah.
Like the card game War. So he puts it down, loses $100. He gets 200 out, puts it down, trying to get it back, loses it. Puts 400 down, puts it down,
Oh, he's just
loses
eating
it. He's like, all right, I'm done. I was like, fuck. So
yeah, $700.
So the rest of the time, man, like it was a good time. I spent most of my money drinking and partying, and I spent a little bit gambling, but
Yeah.
you know, going to fucking titty bars, and I was engaged for about an hour or so, like some fucking Slovenian chick. Like it was a good time.
Vegas, man.
But I went with whatever I had in my account, you know, like I said, whatever, $6-8 grand, something like that, and then I came back on Doc $200
You had nothing.
after 4 days.
You were in debt $200 to Doc.
yeah.
How did he have any money? He must have saved up or had some cheddar.
His mom actually showed up out there, and she was a
You
gambler.
need some money?
Oh yeah, she was floating him on some money for sure.
Oh, dude.
because she was getting a free room in the
Oh, she must gamble. And she got a card. Yeah,
yeah,
she must- she's
across
done.
the room across from New York.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. I don't remember what the name of that.
Oh.
I can see it, but whatever that hotel was, she had like a free suite up there because
Yeah.
she was spending enough money.
Damn. Yeah. So we get back and we rotate out. We fly right out of that. I mean, pretty much after the 96, right? We just gear up and leave, and that was the end of it. Because I think the objective was of the 96 to like have your family come out. If you have a wife and kids or your mom, parents or whatever. My folks came out, and just basically that's where they get to say goodbye. Like that's the last time they're going to see you when you go until you come back from Iraq or come back from the war. And some guys don't have family, or this family just doesn't come out or whatnot, and so you just go. And I remember we flew out, and we go to Kuwait. Like we go to Kuwait, then we fly from Kuwait to. We stay in Kuwait for like what? Like receiving like 2 weeks almost.
Maybe a week or so.
Yeah,
well,
a week or
that was
two.
late September because we put boots down in Iraq on my birthday.
Yeah. Which happy birthday, by the way. You just turned 40.
Thanks. So October 4th of 2006.
Yeah.
Or no, 2007 is when we put boots down in Iraq. I know
Yeah.
because you bought me a pair of boot socks.
Yeah, that was his birthday gift for me. The best birthday gift he ever got.
These Kenny Copenhagen, some boot socks.
That's right. That's right. And that was in Kuwait, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Well, that or it
Al
may
Assad.
have been Al Assad.
I think it was Al Assad. So we flew from Kuwait. We went into Al Assad. We stayed in Al Assad also for another week or so.
Yeah.
And then from there, we're living in those big ass tents and shit, and not really doing much except for eating.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of cool, but we were like, yeah, we're at war, you know? We were like stupid. And then because they had midnight rations and everything. You just kind of, it was pretty chill. There wasn't a lot of like people fucking with you. All the garrison crap from the Marine Corps goes away, and that's basically game time, but you're not acting like an idiot. And we're excited. I mean, I'll speak for myself. We're excited to play ball.
Yeah.
Like we're geared up, or our head's been in this for the last couple months. So, then we go from Al Assad Air Base to Haditha is where we flew into. We landed on the dam, and then we picked up our vehicles and rotated out slowly but surely and lived in the city for a long time.
Yep. Yeah, we did that. We stayed we had a place in the dam that we'd stay at.
Yeah, occasionally.
Once a week, maybe for a
Yeah.
night, and then.
Do you remember that room they put us in before we went down? Like it was hot as hell.
Yeah.
So hot. And there was
We
like
were
a
sleeping
plate on the
outside.
floor.
We
moved our racks outside, our mattresses.
Yep. I got a picture of that somewhere.
Yeah, that's a sick photo. I'll find that photo and I'll plug it in here. But we said there was this hole in the floor, like a steel plate. Mind you, this dam was built by the Russians. So back in the day, from my understanding, it was built by the Russians, and so it's an energy dam. It's basically I don't know what the correct term is, hydropowered. Yeah, and so there's this big. I just remember this grate on the ground in the room that we were in. We're all so bored to tears, ready to roll, do something. We're just kind of hurry up and wait. And I opened it up, and it was like I felt like 500 feet down to the dam.
Yeah.
It was wild, dude. Like you could see at the bottom. But then we lived in the city for a while. We had a good time. I mean, like you said, you were my driver. Almost, I think I switched at the same time. So you were the driver for the vehicle I was in the back of, the Humvee, and then I got swapped to the 7-ton about mid deployment to the back of it, which was like an up armored Humvee. I mean, an up armored 7-ton with plates in the back. And then you drove that.
Yeah, the Armadillo.
Yeah, and one of the things, I mean, deployment was our deployment. So for those of you who don't know, we were doing security for the battalion commander, battalion sergeant major, and
jump platoon.
Jump platoon is what they called us, yeah. And we had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, because we didn't have to do a bunch of the bullshit that the line companies were having to do, like night security, fucking chow duties, and all these things.
Yeah, so they were, by that time, so 2007, you got to think we went to Iraq in 03, America.
Yeah.
By 2007, it was hearts and minds, and they were trying to like win the locals over and everything.
Yeah.
So like they'd capped our artillery. They were trying to take tow missile because we're a tow unit. They were trying to take our tow missiles. They took our tow missiles down. They're trying to do less collateral damage. So instead of having this heavy combined arms team, basically,
Yeah.
that's when they made us jump platoon. They just reallocated us to that.
Yeah,
So
it was much better. I'm glad we got to do that too.
it was a really cool experience because our battalion commander, the colonel, he wanted to go everywhere, so like I said earlier, we were in the dam for one night a week. We went over to Hoklania, to Barwana, to, just all over the place. We drove down to Al-Assad about once a month. There was one time we drove from Haditha, and we drove down to,
Baghdad International Airport too.
Yeah, we drove to Ramadi, over to Fallujah, from Fallujah over to Baghdad and back. I mean, and that's a lot of driving at 35 miles an hour.
It is. And it was like a couple days, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when we got back, we did secure. We had Senator John McCain at the time that was running for president that landed in our AO, and then we had to do VIP security for him.
Yeah, so anybody that came to visit, we did. So we had the Commandant of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Kent came in, was in our vehicle.
That's right.
Remember, did you get a coin?
I didn't end up getting a coin because you were still a driver for the Humvee, I think. Lentz was still driving the 7-ton. I got bumped.
Yeah, that's right.
I was just a Lance Corporal. I was just I would get out. I was a dismount is what they'd call it. So I'd get out of the vehicle and do foot patrols when we go through heavy IED scenes and stuff. And Chris was my videographer a lot of times. Got a lot of sick photos of me because of that. And I don't remember. I didn't get to connect with a lot of the high level guys like you were a driver. So you got like hooked up from some of those dudes.
Yeah. So him, and then we had Rick Leventhal.
Oh, really?
At one point, we came in.
I didn't get privy to some of that shit.
Yeah. So, but who else did we have? We had some other.
Do you remember the time when like we would take like some of the government contractors that would go to these houses and just hand off shit?
Yeah.
That shit was crazy, man. That's where I started to like open my eyes about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was. We did that operation up in the Army's AO where they were rounding up some village or something, and I remember we're like cruising through. It was night vision, like dark. We're blackout night vision driving, and we roll up, but you take your NVGs off, and it's like nothing.
Black.
You put them on, and it's like freaking 4th of July out there. Like there's C-130s with God beams fly, IR God beams coming down. And I remember some guys in fucking like 511s, not military issued shit. So I don't know who they worked for or whatever.
I found out later. They're Task Force 16 guys. So Task Force 16 was essentially an ODA, a Green Beret unit.
Okay.
And they're all dressed up in like you said, they had like our digis on, but they were wearing like you said, like cool shit. They had the highest swag gear. They brought their own they brought their own terp. They brought their own detainee. They brought their own dogs. Yeah. We did a pretty sick raid and operation with them. But yeah, dude, it was so blackout. You couldn't see anything. Like it was just the craziest thing. It's like almost biblical, right?
Yeah.
And then because there's no like city lights, nothing like that. And then you put your NVGs on, and then you could see all the military equipment in the skies, and then all the other guys running around with NVGs and whatnot. And then they have like little tabs on them if they have IRs. And so that was a sick operation.
Yeah. And I remember like we had some detainees in the back of the truck, and these guys come in. They're like, "How much money does he have?" And I'm like, "Oh, this one's got 5,000 dinars." I don't give a fuck about that. How much cash, like U.S. is it? Like, "Oh, this one's got some." He's like, "That's what I want." So he snatches him
For
up.
real?
He snatches him up and disappears. I don't know.
Damn.
But
yeah. Yeah, so we rotate back, and then we talked a little bit about that story, and then it was quick and fast, and I don't know about you. I know that like you became a cop afterwards. Did you struggle any with like any PTSD and like aggression when we got back? Because I know a couple of the other guys became cops. I feel like freaking half of our platoon became law enforcement officers in some aspect, or at least 4 guys.
Yeah, and I don't know as far as like struggling. I think probably all of us at some point,
Yeah,
lost sleep and dealt with the transition. I'm sure is just fucking hard
for sure.
Just trying to get into civilian life, and then you get like being a cop's weird because it's kind of paramilitary, but it's not military.
Like you got slapped with a shitload more rules.
Well, any cop will tell you that like there's so there's a rank structure and but you try to apply these military nuances, like like in the Marine Corps, it doesn't matter. Like you may have zero respect for the fucking sergeant but you respect his collar.
Right. Respect the rank.
And if he says to do something, you're gonna fucking do it. You're not gonna ask questions. You're gonna bitch about it in your head. You're gonna fuck that motherfucker. You and I are gonna bitch about 100%. It in the chow hall.
Yeah.
That guy's a piece of shit, whatever. But there's no, it just is what it is. Like in law enforcement, they try to act like that a lot, but it's not like that.
There's bureaucracy.
Oh yeah. You'll have some patrol guy that's buddies with, this guy, this lieutenant, and their buddy, so then the fraternization, like that's a big thing in the military. You're never going to see a fucking staff sergeant hanging out with a lance corporal in the Marine Corps.
You get busted down for that shit if it actually, and it happens all the time actually in the fleet and shit, but it's like you get in bigger trouble for sure.
Right. But just overall, like shit has a way of working in the military, and they try to like apply that to law enforcement, but it's not really there. So I'll say this, and a friend of mine and I were talking about this recently, another cop, and I'll just paint you a picture. Like, I could get a call of, I don't know, some crazy call. There's a domestic or something, and there's guys armed up. He's barricaded. Maybe he's beat the shit out of his wife or something. Not going back to prison. He's got warrants, whatever. The guy says, "I'm going to shoot anybody that comes in here. First cop that gets whatever."
Yeah.
And I'm getting excited. Like I'm
Handle
not scared.
business.
I'm ready. I'm fucking dialed in. I'm focused. Like I'm probably gonna drive a little bit faster to get there because I want to be the one to fucking put this guy in handcuffs.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, and I'm not scared. I'm not nervous. Right. At the same time, I get a call from my lieutenant or something like, "Hey, I need you to come by the office to talk with me." Fucking anxiety goes up. You're like nervous. Like fuck, what I do. Like I'm more nervous about that fucking phone call than I am about the
shooting situation.
Yeah, because, and that's what's crazy about law enforcement is it is such a fucking internal problem. Like there's the leadership in law enforcement is
catabolic.
It's rough right now.
I can see that. It's only getting
rough
worse.
all around. Yeah, it's rough all around. It's not just within. So
you're not about protecting your own. You're about pointing the finger and getting the blame away as fast as possible.
Yeah, it's about climbing ranks and getting promoted.
And then this world right now, you went through 2020 as a law enforcement officer and all the crap, and I'm sure it got even worse. So let's dive into a lot of the law enforcement stuff. How has that affected everything? Obviously you gave me that scenario.
You mean just
Well, I feel like they were like, oh, take away budgets for cops. And I know you're from small town Oklahoma for the most part and working some higher stuff, but
if there's one thing, so I just recently left my law enforcement job.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure.
But if there's one thing that you can do to make cops worse, it's pay them less. If you want to make law enforcement better, pay them more money because make it competitive and you'll get more competitive applicants.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that law enforcement's perfect. It's not. There's a lot of problems in law enforcement today, but the problem isn't that they get paid too much. I can promise you that.
For sure. I completely agree.
So the whole defund the police, and I don't know, everybody's got their opinions on what should happen or how we reframe criminal justice.
Well, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Let's make it make sense. It's like, wouldn't you want to hire a qualified person, and a higher qualified person is going to expect more pay, and they're going to have a better life, and they're going to be more organized most of the time, and then it's just up to you and your hiring process to qualify that person.
Exactly.
Right? And then at least you have more applicants that are coming to the qualification process that are not just, come on, you're not going for the money, I don't know. If you are going for the money and you're trying to just get out because you always want to be a cop, usually what I've seen is people get out within the first freaking 3 to 5 years.
Well, in fact,
They're like, this, I can't afford my life.
that was such a problem, guys getting out so soon, that they started passing some laws. And even in Oklahoma, they passed a law that if you get out like within the first, I don't know, whatever it is, 5 years, they come up with how much money it costs to train you. And for argument's sake, I don't know the number, but let's just say it's $5,000.
Yeah.
If you get out after year 1, you owe the state $4,000.
Damn, just to keep you in.
And they'll take it out of your taxes or whatever.
What are you making first year as a fucking cop in Pryor, Oklahoma?
And prior, I don't know. I mean, a year 1 cop, just
Annually.
an average police job. I mean, 55,000 maybe.
55,000 a year. Yeah, it's not as terrible as a teacher, but it's pretty close. I mean, I don't even know.
I don't know. I mean, teachers are probably pretty comparable.
Yeah. Golly, man. Yeah.
In fact, I think teachers may be doing a little bit better because I think they got a pay raise a couple years ago. But
Yeah.
it depends. I mean, the highway patrol, obviously, they make pretty good money. They top out quite a bit higher. There's different agencies that do make good money.
Yeah.
Some of your bigger cities.
Let's dive into like some of the craziest shit you've done as a cop or you've seen. What are some of the scenarios that you've seen that you feel like, are just wild off the rails shit?
So you talking about like exciting stuff, or you just
Pros and
talking about,
cons. I mean, you can talk whatever. What's impacted your life the most? If you was like, hey, here's three scenarios or 3 situations that you've been through. What are the wildest ones? Maybe that made you rethink about society. Maybe one that's made you being like, oh, that was the coolest or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've seen a lot of bad shit as a cop because you went into more forensic side and started looking at people that were like child trafficking and pornography and shit like that, right?
So I would say, Kyle, just a couple scenarios, like significant ones for me. I got in an officer-involved shooting at one point, and that was a pretty wild deal. And that was like in the middle of all the police protests. It was after the Ferguson stuff. And so it was, if you got in a shooting, your ears perked up pretty quick because you didn't know what the backlash was going to be.
True.
And which mine, it was very, very clean. There was zero question about it. It couldn't have been more clean. There's tons of people there. So
an officer-involved shooting means that you shot somebody, or they or officer got shot.
I was in I pulled the trigger.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So there was 4 of us that responded to an incident. The guy was armed up with a compound bow.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. And so he had made a bunch of statements. He had just got out of prison for a domestic. He had choked his wife. And that's what he went to prison for. He gets out, he does it again, and he's getting ready to go back. He's doing time on paper. And he starts making the statements, I'm not going back to prison, you're going to have to kill me. And, we're doing a good job of documenting this as we're going, like, hey, dispatch, he's making these statements, whatever. So it was, very well, it was very, very clean. Some shootings aren't that clean because like they happen so fast, so rapid. They're rapidly evolving.
Some guy at the store.
And it's just like, man, you know what you know, or you know what you think you know, and then you just have to get guys that's got months to go deconstruct this thing that you had 16 seconds to figure out what the fuck to do.
Or you're gonna get shot in the face potentially.
Yeah. And so then it's like, oh man, I would have done this and this and this. Yeah, you say that whenever you get to look at it from the comfort of your living room, looking at a body camera or whatever. But mine just wasn't that. It took some time. It evolved slowly. There was just nothing we could have done. We had tried multiple times to de-escalate.
So what's this guy do?
thing.
Just draw down on you guys? Like,
yeah, he was just like, all right, boys, you ready?
Fucking.
Yeah, he's like, you ready? And he draws back and he starts going this way.
Do you have any barrier? Do you have any defilade? Do you have any cover?
We're behind a vehicle, kind of like. But
yeah,
there's
but
4
he's
of
about
us.
to send that freaking.
Yeah, and I've seen what a broadhead will do to a human body. I saw a guy shoot himself in the chest with a crossbow.
On accident?
No, on purpose.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that was.
How'd that turn out?
He died.
Yeah, did it go up through his fucking neck? And
no,
shit?
he did. He like crossbow.
It went straight through him.
Oh, we never found the bolt. It went through like it was gone.
And those things come out.
Yeah. It looked. He was filleted open.
Whoa.
But that one was another domestic. He had gotten into it with his wife. beat the crap out of her, and
Yeah.
it was a nasty deal. But
So homeboy just pulls out the bows like, I'm ready to go, boys.
yeah, he's like,
You're like,
all
see
right.
you later.
Yeah, and so I'd made a decision. If he gets to here,
Did you draw your pistol or do you have like a weapon rifle?
I shot him with a pistol.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer situation.
Yeah, and it was clean, but it was significant in that it kind of, I don't know, like at that time there was multiple times where I could have gotten in shootings and didn't, or other times where maybe I should have and didn't, and luckily it just worked out. But it was significant in that, like, it kind of put it in perspective that this can happen to me. You know, like you'd heard of these things happening around, but they didn't really happen.
But
to
you're
you.
more worried about what, being like in trouble for it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You didn't give a shit about shooting this
I talked
fucking
to my
guy.
wife, and I called my wife and I said, "Hey, so I'm gonna be late. You know, like I got in a shooting." She's like, "Oh my god."
See, that's what's
She's
fucked
like,
up.
Are you
man.
okay? And then her immediate thought wasn't like
What you're thinking?
Yeah, her immediate thought was like, "Are you gonna get fired? Are you gonna go to prison?" You know?
Yeah.
And like that's what's scary as a law enforcement. Like, if you work at McDonald's and you fucking put pickles on a sandwich that's not supposed to have pickles, it's like you go make another sandwich.
Sure.
Even if you're a doctor and you screw up on a surgery and you kill somebody, your malpractice is going to pay out, but you're not going to go to prison. Like, law enforcement is just this weird, unique thing where you don't get to fuck up.
Was it like that when you got in?
No.
It got way worse, like
No, it wasn't like that at
significantly
all.
worse.
No, it wasn't like that at all.
So it was like I would say more older school style. Like cops kind of watched out for each other. They would, man,
Yeah.
you made a good decision, good call.
Yeah, I mean, but it was, I don't know, it just wasn't the societal pressure on law enforcement that there is today.
Oh yeah, they'll shine your face all over the news and
Yeah.
game over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just. I mean, honestly, you're gonna get freaking screwed by everybody else, and all the media coverage is gonna happen if you just make one mistake or it's even interpreted wrong.
And the judgment, like I said earlier, isn't just from the outside. In fact, during all the police protests and stuff, there was actually a lot of support for law enforcement that came out of that people probably don't realize. Or, it looked really bad because everybody's showing, all these protests
sure.
and everything else. But there was also, like, especially in Northeast Oklahoma, there's a lot of people that really support law enforcement.
Sure.
So I'll say, like, in my experience, a lot of, I mean, there was some of the external problems, but for the most part, I think the stresses in law enforcement are left and right, not inside outside. I mean, they're within the department.
Oh, it's sad, man.
Yeah, and it's just that occupational stress that a lot of places experience, but just law enforcement's not immune to it.
Yeah. I know that you did work on a lot of the stuff with kids. And do you have any suggestions for parents out there that are concerned for their kids getting on tech or things that they can avoid to maybe mitigate getting their kids in type of situations that you had to review information on?
Just
molestation, rape, and shit. I mean, you've seen it all, I'm sure. So.
I would say, yeah. So I got into digital forensics at one point, and
explain what that is.
So that's just the ones and zeros of
catching the bad guy on the computer, right?
Yeah. So all the nasty, underage stuff that images and videos that's out there, and so the catching guys sending and receiving, downloading, creating, that type of stuff, and all of that stuff happens. I mean, people aren't mailing Polaroids. The stuff happens through apps. And there's not a platform out there that's immune to it. Some of them are really good about identifying and catching it. But I think if there was a piece of advice I could give to a parent, it's to be nosy.
Yeah.
Be nosy with what your kids are doing. Now
I've heard horror stories like roadblocks and shit.
There's two sides of, there's probably more than two, but there's at least two sides of these child victimization things, like the known and the unknown. Like if as far as people exploiting children online, that is a whole animal by itself.
True.
And so that is what I'd say be nosy about. The stuff about the physical exploitation, I'm not saying stranger cases don't happen, but it's usually not a stranger. It's
family member.
It's an uncle, it's a cousin, it's a you know,
Yeah.
older sibling, it's a grandpa, a neighbor, a coach. It's
That's been that way forever, I feel.
I know it for sure. And they don't start with grooming the child. They start with grooming the family. There's this whole process that they go through that takes your guard down. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, you're comfortable with me. You trust me with everything. And then you trust me with your kids. And then I
stay the
groom
night
your
and-
children. And, you shouldn't worry about the stranger child molester that lives a block down the road. You should worry about your cousin that has regular contact with your kids or your brother.
It's crazy to think that way. And it's
best
sad to think that way.
But that's what it
it's
is.
just
That's
to be
who's doing
aware,
it.
right? That's what
Yeah.
happens. I mean, I know personally, not my personal experiences, but know people personally that have had those types of things happen. So the advice on the social media side or anything like that for the kids is just to be very nosy, right?
Be nosy. I mean, you're not going to protect them from it. We live in an age where social media if you completely guard kids from it, we're not going to. There's an extreme. Extremes are
Right.
bad in anything, I think. But you see this like with Chat GPT and AI and stuff. Schools are like, oh, absolutely not. But schools that are doing that are probably setting those kids up for failure because that is the future.
100%.
Schools that are finding ways to implement it and integrate it, those kids will be more successful later on, I believe. And the same thing with social media. You can't just say, oh, my kids will not have anything to do with any social media because at some point they're going to, and it's going to be out there. It's going to be a thing. Teach them to do it now responsibly under your guidance when you
Like
have
weapon
access.
safety, man, like anything, right?
Yeah, you have access to them and, just routine, just be nosy.
I think one of the things you told me that kind of shocked me was like, you have 2 boys, I have 2 daughters. And so it was like, yeah, dude, a lot of times they're going after the boys. And I never even thought about being a man myself, right? It's like, I don't know. We never thought about it as little boys, I guess. But that's crazy that is so predatorial.
Yeah,
because
so
people are so less aware of it, I think.
Yeah, so we had several, we did this operation with the feds at one point where we were doing these like your Chris Hansen to catch a predator type deals.
Gotcha.
And so we'd get online and we'd lure these perverts in and they would come in to meet. We had way more success. I feel like guys coming to meet a 13-year-old boy than we did 13-year-old girls.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Super common.
That is wild. So let's fast forward a little bit and start kind of like where you're at now. And like, so how many years did you spend in law enforcement?
About 2008 to now, whatever that is.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah.
So.
And then you just recently quit?
Yeah.
How long ago? Like less than 10 days ago.
Yeah, less than a week ago.
Yeah. How'd that feel?
Good. Really good. So I kicked the idea around for a long time, bouncing back and forth. I say bouncing back and forth. It was never really even a possibility. It was a pipe dream, something I might do later on one day, when I get rich, when I grow up.
Yeah. But what happens is what, 17 years of your life go by, or X amount of years of your life go by.
And that's what happens is like you look back and you're like, if not now, then when, but one thing that you have, so we were talking about some other stuff and you had mentioned to me that there's guys in business that will spend so much time planning that like really smart guys will spend a whole bunch of time planning, trying to make everything perfect, getting analysis paralysis, and never make a dollar because they never get their idea
100%. Yeah, I want to go ahead, finish your thing.
So I was thinking about that, and it was in the back of my head, and I thought, like you're not gonna know all the answers. You can have a plan. I think all you can really do is just at some point rip the Band-Aid off and do it. So, and that's kind of what I did. I've got some options for some revenue streams coming in, and that's going good, I think. And even if it doesn't, like
it's gonna do good.
And I've talked to people and like, well, what if this? Well, what if this? Well, yeah, fucking what
people,
if?
Man.
What if?
What if I die tomorrow? Fuck it.
Right. And so like, so I thought about that, and then I last week I was talking to my wife, and I said, I don't think I can go to work Monday. And she's like, and she knows like we've discussed it quite a bit, and she's like, think you're ready? And I was like, I think I am. She's
Good.
Like, let's do it.
Good to you, man. I'm proud of you.
So I did. I drove to my major's house, and I gave him my letter of resignation, and he was super supportive. He understands and he gets it. And
Yeah.
you know, if law enforcement was different, if there was, you know, maybe, and I don't know, I just, it wasn't time. I mean, it was time for me to. It's time for me to go out and do this thing for me. You know, I spent 17 years, actually more than that. My entire adult life, from my summer job when I was 16 was working for the cemetery, weed eating around headstones, working for, you know, like I've worked for the government my entire life, and you know, I've got a retirement account with like 20,000 in it, and like that's it.
That's fucking
you know?
crazy.
I mean,
yeah, it's not treated you well back. Let's put it that way.
No, I mean, like you can have a decent life and not want for shit, and it'll pay the bills, but you're not going to go on vacations to fucking
anyway.
But you know,
these days,
yeah, like
it's surviving, not thriving. 100%.
That's
and something you touched. You said about I want to touch on and kind of help people out with this is, I will be bold and say that it's not all successful. I would say the majority of successful entrepreneurs are not. They're not A students, man. Like I think people have this illusion that they're the smartest guy in the room, and they're not. They're the guy that takes the most amount of action and has the willingness to fail. Yeah. And I realized that, and when I realized it even more as I would get in rooms, and more as I would get in rooms, and it's like it's the boldest motherfucker. Yeah. Like it's the guy that's just willing to do it that's sooner. Because I'll give you an example. Two of my mentors that I met, they're kind of my first mentors before social media, before any of this. Like we're talking 17, 18, but right before I was in the Marine Corps, and then when I came back, I worked for my dad and met these guys. These guys, two of them, I have two of them specifically that are like I attribute a lot of my beginning to. Maybe like some of my advice I gave you. Right. Like I attribute it to that far back, to these guys. Both of these guys dropped out of high school to start their businesses. They did not get GEDs. Why? Because one started pushing a mower and learned how a dollar worked before he, after sophomore year. And so he was infinitely further ahead and does better than probably all or the majority of the people that he went to school with or was around. Right. And he asked because you're forced to figure it out, but you're forced to figure out the problems that are real instead of these other things. And the more formally educated an individual is, I tend to see the more resistance or the more hesitation that they are of actually taking action as an entrepreneur, as being successful, because they don't think street smarts. Let's talk like cop language. They think what you said. They want to plan this. They want it to work perfect. They don't want to fail. And so they set up all of these things which actually hold them back from actually taking the action and failing 20 times, then seeing success, versus this guy that never even started and still going to see the same failure because he never thought through. You're never going to think through all of the things that are going to come up.
Yeah. No plan survives first contact.
100%. If you look at the biggest guys that are out there, the biggest, I wouldn't say not all of them, right? But most of them are not. They're not your freaking best student. They're probably worse. They're the ADHD kid these days, whatever the hell else they prescribe or tell the kids. Right. They're the kid that couldn't sit still. They're the kid that wants to do something else. They're the kid that has aspirations. Yeah. And so the more you go down a rabbit hole, the longer, the harder it is. And I can say this today sitting next to you, that it is, I commend you for what you've done, because it's a lot harder to quit your job at where you're at than it was for me at my age. I didn't have kids, all these other things. If I fell on my face, I could have infinitely been, who knows? If I would have failed and gone bankrupt at that age, I could have been, just the way life works, maybe I would have started or done something else that made me even more successful than I am today. You see what I'm saying?
Joe Rogan talks about that. He says that, like he couldn't take the same risks today that he did when he started.
Absolutely.
He couldn't, like now that he's got a wife and kids and a family to feed, like he couldn't go be a struggling comedian.
Yeah.
That he was, that kind of got him where he is today. But I think for me, it was just seeing, like I had some motivations. Obviously,
you started making some money, and then you started losing some weight, and like compound effect.
Yeah, so I had multiple things that kind of just fell in line. So I had access to you and saw your success, and there was some like mentorship, I guess, on that side of it, because we went from being in the exact same position overseas, low level,
grunts,
low
man, basically
jobs after we got out, and then my friend Tyler. Bruce lives down the road from me. We went to school together. He was kind of the same thing. He was in law enforcement and going forward. Well, I start seeing like moves that he's making, moves that you're making, and it's like, well, why can't I be making moves? Like what am I not doing that I should be doing? So then I just started somewhere, man. I got into the gym, and I wasn't having a ton of success with it, but I was having some. And then it wasn't until I really got that side of it dialed in, and then once I've like gotten my fitness, my diet under control. And like, I feel like I've got more confidence. So I have confidence in that side of it. And then it's like success breeds success, right? Like you have a win and then there's another win and there's another win. And so does failure. Failure breeds failure. Like the more, when it rains, it pours, but
sometimes failure breeds success too, depending on how it's put, but.
Sure. I mean, there's value in loss. There's value in losing.
If you learn from it.
Right.
If you repeat the process, then no.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I mean, it just started compounding. Like I said, some really good motivators in my life, guys doing some really cool things. And
well, there's two things that you talked about there that I think you just glossed over, but they're huge. One, the influence of other people, right? Seeing somebody else do something to fruition, you can be like, oh my God, this is possible for me, right?
Yeah.
You can be like, okay, holy hell, I can do something now.
What's it take?
Yeah, what's it take? And then two, the compound effect of getting confident in yourself, right? Because that compound effect is like what I like to think of as the what's next mentality. So you're like, what's next? Cool, I did this. What's next? And then like, what else can I do? And that's why it's really one of the best tools that you can do is get yourself into physical shape. Now, there's plenty of people successful financially. There's people that make a ton of money that never touch a gym, touch the weight or whatever. But there's a lot of times they make the money and they end up going back to it to get into that shape, to gain that confidence back. But the point is, like,
work it backwards.
They work it backwards, and maybe they had some, maybe they're connected with somebody, or they did some other type of business, right? But if you're starting from ground zero, take the example from Chris right here, and literally, like, if I got nothing, if you don't have a connection with a multimillionaire, the free thing is to get yourself into a physical shape, because then now you have this confidence and this level to at least ask the questions and the mindset. Exactly. Sure. That's huge, man. That's huge.
And it doesn't take anything. It's just hard work. I mean, everybody has a road,
right?
Everybody has shoes.
Well, what happens along the process that's undervalued is that, like, if you do get yourself into physical good shape, is you're going to eliminate a lot of friends. Because you don't have time to go and do the bars and the freaking things, right? Yeah. You don't have time to do the X, Y, and Z's. And so you're like, I got to wake up early, I'm going to do my workout or whatever it is, right? Or I got to stay up late and do my workout. So you're not hanging out drinking. Yeah. You don't. So what you do is you limit your calendar space, whether you're 20 years old or whether you're 45 years old. What you do is now you're utilizing this time in a positive manner, and that's a compound effect that infinitely touches everything else in life. Sure. And as somebody of our age now, it's like, you're showing your kids, you've inspired the hell out of your kids to do things, man. I mean, that's something that you should talk about.
Yeah, so that kept me motivated too. It's like, I think we've all had success for a while. Like, everybody's dieting
yo,
and you're like, oh, I lost some weight, I'm looking good. And then it's like, fucking Thanksgiving happened and it got out of control. Now here it is February, and then, so I started back in the gym, and I started having success. Well, I've got a 14-year-old that's, he was kind of on the chubbier side of the spectrum, and
which is common for kids these days.
Yeah, he's just, he was playing sports, but he wasn't working real hard. His diet wasn't under control. Sure. He was eating chicken nuggets that was pretty much his diet. And then, so he's going to the gym with me, and man, once, like, I really got dialed in. I got focused on what it was I was doing, what I wanted, like, and I had a vision. I saw that change in him too, and he's like, okay, I want that too. So he's like, what do I need to do? Like, so, he's counting macros, he's doing all this stuff. And I don't think we give kids credit enough for what they're capable of. And you see this, like, go back to Iraq. Who were the locals that spoke English?
Yeah, the young kids.
It was the kids, right? Always, they're capable of learning so much and doing so much that I don't think we give them credit for. Because their minds are just so young and malleable, know. So, Cooper, my kid, my oldest anyway, he was so dialed in. Like, he's learning things that he's teaching me even. Like, hey, I saw this. You see this video? Did you see this? Whatever. Like, I heard about this on this type of split or that type of split, or maybe we ought to try this workout or this exercise. And man, so, like, it really gave us a good opportunity to spend some very good quality time together, and we've bonded a lot over that, and we've gotten really, and I'm not, I'm a father first, not a friend. I'm not trying to buddy up with my boy, like, whatever. Right. But the time that we've spent together doing this, I think, is worth its weight in gold. And if nothing else, if I didn't lose a pound, if I had to work a shit job the rest of my life, if I didn't get anything else out of it, the connection that I've been able to make with my son on that level is not something that you can buy. It's not something you can get anywhere else. You have to put in the time and the effort to do that. And so, like, for me, that was really, really valuable. But the other thing that happened is he started having success. So he started, I'm doing this thing and it's working. He's seeing it. Monkey see, monkey do. He's doing the same thing. And man, he goes from this chubby, kid on the whatever, and now he's got visible abs. He's fucking dialed in. People are like, damn, Coop looks good. He's looking like a young man. And I mean, it's just wild.
It is,
So
man.
now little brother is starting to see, it's like, Dad, when do I get to start going to the gym with you guys?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, when I want to do a 24-hour fast. Like,
yeah,
let's do it, man.
it's not just the connection too; it's the impact that you have on them, man. So that's awesome. Like I said, I'm proud of you, man. That's freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Shout out to Cooper too, right? Like he's crushing it, dude.
Yeah, and just all around as a family. So as a family, like things that before would have been even a fight with my wife. This idea of leaving. But like I think just seeing the confidence that I've had. Like it probably instills some faith in my wife that things are gonna be okay. So like she's not.
So she's
not
gave
worried.
you, because you've proven that you can do this. Then now you're like, oh, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna do this and X, Y, and Z. And she's like, well, he said what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Right?
Now she's supportive. And
Right.
so it's like, okay, so I've got that support. I don't have this in my ear telling me we can't do this, we can't afford this, whatever. It's just like, hey, we'll figure it out.
That's amazing.
So then now we go forward and things are looking good.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, let's close out here and tell us a little about what's the next steps for you? Where do you plan on going? What's going to happen? And where do you see right now? Like how far can you see down the road?
Man, I don't know.
You have some idea.
I do got some ideas. So I'm getting into the peptide business.
Hell yeah.
Pushing some research use only peptides.
We'll plug it in the bio right down below.
And there's I think that's a big industry that's gonna help a lot of people.
Yeah, it's huge. It's helped me a ton. It's helped a bunch of my clients. It's helped all sorts of people.
If you don't know about them, get on ChatGPT.
Well, I'm gonna put the link down here in the bottom of this video so that people can go to the website, and if they want to, they can get a discount from this podcast right here.
Yep. Do some research, figure out what does what, and
For sure.
like how to, where to source that stuff. You can, like I said, that's what we're selling for, through our company, through Core.
Sick.
So that's the near thing. I've got some other irons in the fire, but we're gonna figure those out as they go. And,
Hell yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know what the future
Would you
holds.
any closing advice you would give to somebody that was in the position you were in, let's say a year ago?
I think if I was gonna tell myself,
You're sitting across the table from Chris a year ago, and you're like, I don't know about all this. I don't know, man. I want something new, but what do I do with my life?
I would say get your shit together, like mentally. I'd say get your life in focus, get your goals in focus, and believe it. I think if you believe it, don't make it this abstract idea of something that you might do one day. Think, okay, this is what I want. What do I need to do to get there? Like, what steps do I need to take to get there? And then just start plugging it away. And, whether that's, I'll say this, having a community of people like through Apex has been amazing. Having people in my life that are also goal-oriented, that's been incredible. Like having that support system, like through Apex, particularly one of the points on that early on was the price. I was like, fuck, that seems crazy. Even my wife was like, that seems crazy. But now I look back on it, and so I think back to what are the purchases that you've made in your life that you're the most proud of? Are they the ones that, or the stuff in your life that you're the most proud of? Is it the stuff that you got for free? Is it the stuff you got good deal on cheap? No. And I had tried paid coaching services before, like, okay, whatever, that were cheap.
Couple $100.
$200.
Here's a diet. Here's a PDF.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll go waste a couple $100 because it's easier than doing what it takes.
Your mind is like, oh, I can just fucking,
right.
Who cares if I don't do it?
But if you make a significant financial investment in yourself, you're going to stick with it. You're going to, it's like, okay, I got skin in the game now. Like, I'm not wasting what I just spent on this. Like, I am focused, and here, I'm proving it,
Yep.
So let's do it. And I've heard people say, and it's fucking true. Cheap things aren't good, and good things aren't cheap.
It's true.
You know, and so if I was gonna give myself some advice, it would be to do that. Like, figure out what it's gonna take. You know, and for me, like, if I was gonna do it, I would have went with Apex a lot sooner. I think, because I think that's kind of where it all started, with getting the mental side. Getting the physical side, got my mental side in check, and then once I got my mental side in check, everything else just kind of fell in line.
Hell yeah.
And that I wouldn't have done that on my own, I don't think. I think so.
Having a community of people is huge.
That are all like-minded, and not just the physical side, not the financial advice I've gotten, but just having, like, I met a guy just the other day that is some multi-million-dollar commercial real estate investor over at Mike's Gym.
Yeah.
You know, like yesterday.
Yeah.
That I would have never brushed shoulders with if not for this community that we're in.
Right.
You know, like contractors and just in it's like every walk of life. Am I going to get into the roofing business? Probably not. But I know some guys that are. So if I get into the real estate business, I need a roof, I can call this guy.
Ask questions.
Hey man, am I getting fucked over here? Or hey, why don't you come bid a job on this thing for me? Like, let's, and then maybe he's going to come to me for some peptides or something that he's looking for.
Sure.
Or like whatever, just these mutual beneficial. So getting next to people that are successful, and I'm sure we've all heard it, but you're only the sum of your 5 closest friends, so make sure they're good ones.
Absolutely. Yep. I can't explain how important it is to surround yourself with the right people. And if you don't choose those people, life will choose those people. And when life chooses those people, just statistically speaking, they're not going to be successful, and neither will you. And that's what most people do.
Yep. That's why meth addicts hang out with meth addicts.
That's exactly right. That's why 2 guys bitch about their jobs and keep their jobs for fucking forever, right? That's why everybody can. It's just a catabolic situation. So, well, man, I've had a pleasure having you on here. It's freaking awesome. Probably won't be the last time. We'll have you on some more. We'll definitely put the core website below. So if anybody wants to you get a 20% discount if you go through the link below. Man, it was great to see you again, and we have probably a lot more stories to share. But
for sure,
some of them for another time.
Some of them probably can't share.
Yeah, we aired too much on here already.
All right. Thanks, man.
Out.